So we're going to share with you in this particular broadcast. We're going to keep it relatively short. This is a topic that could really get away from us. We're going to be talking about gluten intolerance and peripheral neuropathy. Dr. Gates and I work, as some of you may know, who watch these a lot with chronic pain. Peripheral neuropathy tends to be a significant part of our practice. There's probably about 80 different causes for peripheral neuropathy, as per the neurology series that is put out by the medical profession every 4 years or something like that.
Contemporary neurology.
And the contemporary neurology series, which is the Bible for the medical neurologists and neurosurgeons and so on and so forth. Even though a lot of people have been told it's either diabetes or your back or tarsal tunnel, or we don't know what it is. And so that's 4. There's about 80. They're correct. We have found that, unfortunately, to be true. And one of those 80 is a gluten-intolerant peripheral neuropathy. It seems like gluten still gets some bad press out there. I actually saw the big boy, what's his name? Used to be on Oprah. You can tell.
Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz got a little controversial a few weeks ago, saying, well, it's a scam. It's a scam, he said. The audience didn't think so. They screamed them down. Well, maybe it's not totally a scam or whatever. Well, let me tell you, it's not a scam. And there's a certain percentage of you that have it. And there's a certain percentage of you that have it that don't know that you have it. And there's a certain percentage of you that know about gluten that don't know that gluten intolerance may not manifest as messing up your stomach and giving you symptoms there, but it may mess up your nervous system, that being your brain and all your nerves. And there's a certain moderate to small percentage of you in which it will have an effect or actually create your peripheral neuropathy.
Right.
So I'm going to leave it to Dr. Gates to take it from there relative to his findings in working with peripheral neuropathy patients and his research, and he can share that with you so you have a better understanding of that one mechanism of what may potentially be causing your peripheral neuropathy.
Well, it was first observed in celiac disease patients that they had an increased risk of developing peripheral neuropathy as well as things like balance problems termed ataxia. But the landmark study came... Celiac disease is an autoimmune disease against gluten, where if you eat gluten, your immune system not only attacks the gluten, but it attacks your intestines. Right. Now, relative to this...
So they had gut problems.
And there was a landmark study coming out of England with Dr. Hajivasulu. I'll pronounce his name correctly one of these years.
Okay.
Yeah, but Dr. Hajivasulu out of the United Kingdom in the Journal of Neurology, Neurosurgery, and Psychiatry in 2006 had this amazing study where he took a bunch of patients with quote-unquote idiopathic peripheral neuropathy, which means we don't know the cause of their peripheral neuropathy. They don't have diabetes, they don't have B12 deficiency, but they have neuropathy. And he found that 34% of them had a gluten intolerance, meaning their immune system was attacking gluten. It was in a different form than those with celiac disease, but when their immune system was attacking gluten, that could be associated with peripheral neuropathy through an indirect mechanism that we don't need to go into.
And this gentleman's a legitimate researcher. He is the top neurological researcher relative to gluten and its effect on the brain and nervous system in the world.
Yeah.
Bar none. And he is like the word on this stuff.
He has over 100 articles published on the matter.
Yeah.
And so this has created a huge stir in the neurology community. It's come up against a lot of resistance, but frankly, Dr. Hajivasulu has won. Now he has a chapter in the Handbook of Clinical Neurology on gluten-related disorders, meaning problems with gluten causing neurologic complications, including problems with balance, including peripheral neuropathy. We're now seeing that certain muscle diseases can be secondary to gluten problems. So those out there suffering with quote-unquote idiopathic peripheral neuropathy, you really need to be screened for a gluten intolerance. Also know that the lab testing is not fantastic on this matter. We did an entire broadcast for an hour that you can get on powerhealthtalk.com regarding gluten and the testing problems relative to sensitivity and specificity. So just know that you may have to get repeat testing for gliadin antibodies and know that it could be causing your peripheral neuropathy, and we're now seeing that can cause a significant number of idiopathic peripheral neuropathy cases.
Yeah, what would be the symptoms that the viewer would expect to see in a gluten-sensitive peripheral neuropathy?
That's really interesting because it can manifest in any way, shape, or form of peripheral neuropathy. It can cause small fiber neuropathy characteristics, which means you have more pain, more burning pain, more autonomic features, which is where your feet will turn blue, or you're getting erectile dysfunction at the same time that you have this burning pain in your feet. Or it can manifest with kind of the garden variety peripheral neuropathy, termed a distal symmetric polyneuropathy, which is basically you get numbness and tingling in your feet. And you start to get a few problems with balance, but your muscle strength is good. It can manifest as a sensory neuronopathy, which is also known as a ganglionopathy. Just fancy terms. All you need to know is where the person can't feel anything throughout their entire body. And Dr. Hadjivassiliou showed in one of his reports that upwards of half of these cases were due to gluten. I mean, this is just phenomenal because, especially as you get into the nuances of this, as Dr. Rutherford said, there can be 80 different causes of peripheral neuropathy past diabetes. Gluten is showing its head as a major formidable factor relative to this entire problem of peripheral nerve disorders. So I think that pretty well covers it. In our clinic, we look at factors such as gluten heavily in testing of our patients with peripheral neuropathy, and we do a unique form of peripheral nerve rehab to bring cases back of idiopathic peripheral neuropathy where we actually have the patients feeling better in terms of their numbness, tingling, burning pain, lack of balance problems. And it's very rewarding. It's coupling the approach of shocking the nerves back into life and fixing the underlying metabolic problem. And for those with a gluten neuropathy, it's basically getting gluten out of the diet. And studies have shown that if you eliminate gluten from the diet and you have peripheral neuropathy, secondary to a gluten-mediated peripheral neuropathy, that the nerves will actually conduct signals better. But lots of times, symptoms don't go away. And there have also been studies done where they go in and they try and shock the nerves back into life, and the person will feel a little bit better for a couple days, but then they go right back to how they were. And so we're pretty excited because we've coupled the two approaches together, and we're seeing some neat changes. And so again, if you have any other questions, go to powerhealthtalk.com. You can forward us individual questions there, as well as the fact that we have tons of other videos on gluten. We have one on small fiber neuropathy. We just did one on B12 deficient neuropathy, and we're going to do one on statin neuropathy right now. So thank you for watching.
Yeah.
And we'll see you soon.